Hello and welcome to this session on the new NIH Common Form and Biosketch Supplement. I'm Beth Dolph with the Office of the Vice President for Health Sciences, and in this session I will show you how to use SciENcv to create and certify your NIH Biosketch documents. NIH is adopting the Common Forms for Biosketches for submissions with due dates on or after January 25, 2026. This means that all biosketches included in applications starting on January 25th must use the common forms created and certified in SciENcv. This includes senior and key personnel, other significant contributors, students, and anyone else submitting a biosketch. In addition, all individuals submitting a biosketch must have an ORCID ID and link their ORCID ID to their ERA Commons personal profile. If you're new to ORCID or just need a refresher, you can go to the UB Health Sciences YouTube channel and watch the session on setting up an ORCID account. You'll also find a session on setting up your NCBI account, which includes a demo of how to link an ORCID account with SciENcv and ERA Commons. The ORCID and NCBI sessions cover the initial steps that set you up for using SciENcv. And today's session assumes that those accounts have already been set up and linked. So the Health Sciences YouTube channel is a great resource before diving into SciENcv itself. To start, when we're talking about the new NIH Biosketch, we're really talking about two documents, the Common Form and the Biosketch Supplement. The sections of the old Biosketch that you're familiar with are still present, but they're divided over these two documents and the order is a little different. The Biosketch Common Form has the identifying information, professional preparation, positions and appointments, and products. The Biosketch Supplement Form is where you'll have your personal statement, honors, and contributions to science. NIH has updated instructions for some of these sections, and I'll point out changes as we build each section. To get started on your NIH Biosketch, you'll log on to your NCBI account, access your dashboard, and navigate to SciENcv in the lower right corner. If you want to create your own Biosketch, you'll click on Manage SciENcv. If you're a delegate for someone else's Biosketch and want to access their documents, you'll click their ID under Delegated CVs. I'm going to work on my own Biosketch, so I'll click Manage SciENcv. When my SciENcv opens, under my profile, my ORCID ID is listed, and so is my ERA Commons ID. To get started on a new Biosketch, under My Documents, we'll click New Document. First, we have to name the new document, so I'll type in NIH Common Form Biosketch. And next I have to select what type of document I want to create. You can see there are several different document types. We're looking for the NIH Biographical Sketch Common Form. The soon-to-be old format is still available, so make sure you select the Common Form if your submission date is on or after January 25th. Now we have options for how we want to generate the new Biosketch. If you've already created a Biosketch in SciENcv, you can select Use an Existing Document in SciENcv and choose a previous Biosketch that will then be converted into the Common Form. If you want to start from scratch, you can select Start with a Blank Document. We're going to select Use an External Source. Now I can choose a source for SciENcv to pull information from to start making my new Biosketch. I've linked both my ERA Commons and ORCID accounts with my SciENcv, so those are my options to pull from. My ORCID profile is populated with the most relevant information for creating my Biosketch, so I'll choose ORCID as my external source. And now I'll click Create. We'll take a look at the common form that SciENcv generated in a second, but I want to point out a change that is easy to miss right off the bat. There is no page limit for the NIH Biosketch Common Form. It's no longer a max 5-page document. Instead, you'll notice as we go through that there are character limits indicated for some sections. I will point out some other changes as we go through, but I definitely recommend taking some time to familiarize yourself with the new instructions. Scrolling down, the first section of the Common Form that we'll see is identifying information, organization, and location. There is a red asterisk after the title of the section, which indicates that this section is required. I have not manually entered anything into this section, but you can see that information has been pulled from ORCID. Your ORCID ID is required to appear here as your persistent identifier. And your ERA Commons ID will be underneath that. Now this red exclamation point next to the edit icon tells me that I have required information missing. So I'll click that, and now I'll see a bunch of red text that shows me where I need to fill in missing information. Once I fill in the information and click Save, that section will no longer have a red exclamation point next to it, and I'll be good to go on to the next section. So we'll scroll down to section A, which is professional preparation. If your education and training are in your ORCID account, this section will populate that information here. You'll notice the red exclamation points again, so some information is missing. When I click on Edit, I see that the location information wasn't populated, and neither was field of study. I also need to include the start date. I'll go through and add in the missing information here, and then for each of the other education entries. Once I've finished, my professional preparation section is free of red exclamation points, and I can move on to section B. Section B is where you'll have your appointments and positions. These are listed in reverse chronological order by start date, which is done automatically for you when you have all the required information populated. I don't have any red exclamation points, but if there were any, I would click Edit and fill in the missing information, just as I did in prior sections. Before moving on, I want to point out one line in the instructions here. This line indicates that you should identify all domestic and foreign appointments and positions outside of the primary organization for a period of up to 3 years from date of submission. So that puts a limit on the number of positions you're required to list, staying within those 3 years. Moving on to section C, this is where you'll list your products. This is one of the biggest changes, I'd say. You'll no longer list citations in the personal statement or contributions to science. Instead, in the products section, you can list up to 5 products closely related to the proposed project, and then up to 5 other significant products that highlight your contributions to science. These will just be citations, not narrative explanations. You'll have space for narrative in the Biosketch supplement. The purpose in the contributions section is to demonstrate your ability to carry out the proposed project, so you should select products that highlight this ability. If you click What are acceptable products, you'll see a list including publications, conference papers, technologies, inventions, and databases. Regardless of which products you choose to include, you'll need to include full citation information for each and follow the NIH's policy on using hyperlinks, which you can find by clicking here. Underneath these instructions, you'll see the sections where you add the closely related and other significant products. You'll add both types of products in the same way, and I'll show you the process using the related products. You'll click the Select Related Products button, and you'll see a pop-up that looks like this. I can decide to choose products from my bibliography or from ORCID. All you have to do is click the small checkbox to the left of the product you want to include in this section, and then click Continue. And then you'll see your products added to the section. You'll repeat that selection process for the other significant products. And you can see that I've done that here. Once you've added your products, that's the end of the Common Form. When you scroll down, you'll see the next document title, which is the NIH Biographical Sketch Supplement. And again, this supplement is required for every Biosketch being submitted to NIH, starting on January 25th, 2026. Section A of the supplement is where your personal statement will go. Just like in the previous version of the Biosketch, the personal statement is where you'll describe why you are well suited for your role on the proposed project. You can still include ongoing and recently completed research projects from the last 3 years that you want to highlight, but the personal statement will no longer include citations. This section also has a character limit of 3,500. When you click the Add Personal Statement button, you get a text box where you can either type or paste your personal statement. Note at the bottom, it keeps track of how many characters you have remaining. Once you've finished your personal statement, you'll click Save and move on to Supplement Section B. Section B is the Honors section, and you will list academic achievements and honors, including scholarships, traineeships, fellowships, development awards, clinical licensures, and specialty board certifications. This section is limited to 15 entries. To get started, you'll click Add Honor, and you'll fill in the name of the honor, the organization, and the year. Click Save and add another if you have more to add, and when you've added your last one, click Save. That will take us to the last section, Section C, Contributions to Science. You are allowed to add up to 5 contributions to science, and the content of these contributions is the same as the previous version of the Biosketch, with 2 exceptions. First, again, there are no citations allowed. You may reference up to 5 products listed in the Other Significant Products section of the Common Form Biosketch that are relevant to the contributions described in this section, but you may not provide full citations. The second change is that you may no longer include a link to your My Bibliography complete list of publications. All citations are limited to the product section of the Common Form. So, to add a contribution, click the blue Add button, and you'll get a text box to type or paste your description in. Note that there is a 2,000 character limit. And then you can continue adding contributions up to the max of 5. The final step, certification, is next. If you want to preview your Common Form and Biosketch supplement documents prior to certifying, click on View Draft. Once you've made any edits and are ready to finalize the document, choose Download the PDF. When you click to download, the certification window will pop up. Please note that you must download and certify your own documents. You cannot have a delegate download and certify the final PDF. If changes are made after it has been downloaded, you must recertify and download again. My certified and downloaded document looks like this. First, I have the NIH Biographical Sketch Common Form document, formatted automatically for me by SciENcv. Here you can see the identifying information, professional preparation, and appointments and positions. And below that, the products section. The last page of this document is the certification page. You can see it says that I certified it and the date and time. And after that page, we have the NIH Biographical Sketch Supplement, also automatically formatted for me and showing the certification at the bottom. The certified documents are valid for 12 months, so you can use that same document for a year as long as you have not made any changes or updates. If you do make edits, you will need to recertify your documents. Once you've certified and downloaded, you're all set. Now the last thing I'll show you is how to add a delegate who can work on your Biosketch within SciENcv on your behalf. This is a refresher from the Setting Up an NCBI Account session that you can find on the Health Sciences YouTube channel. From your My NCBI dashboard, you'll click on your name in the upper right corner. From there, select Account Settings, and then navigate down to the Delegates section. There, you'll enter your delegate's email address, and they will receive an email with a link to activate their access to your SciENcv. If the delegate doesn't already have a My NCBI account, they will be prompted to register for one. And just a reminder, a delegate can input information and make edits to your documents, but only you can certify your documents. So to summarize, these are the key changes for the new Biosketch and supplement within SciENcv. First, you must have an ORCID profile, and it must be linked to your ERA Commons account. Second, the 5-page limit is no longer applicable. Instead, there are character limits for sections with a text box. Third, you will only have citations within the products section. You may refer to your products in the narrative of the supplement document, but you will not include full citations there. And finally, the My Bibliography link will no longer be used. As you're working in SciENcv, if you have questions, the NIH has a frequently asked questions site that has a lot of useful information. You can also feel free to email me with questions. These changes are new for everyone, so don't hesitate to ask if you need assistance. Thank you for watching, and good luck with your upcoming submissions.